Alright guys, welcome back to another video to the Ghost Flash channel. In today's video, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be working on the Nissan 300ZX. It is a 1991 300ZX and a slick top, for those of you guys wondering. And in today's video, ladies and gentlemen, let me go ahead and find my phone real quick. Hold on, give me 1 second. But we're going to be diagnosing engine code on the Nissan 300ZX, guys. So I had two codes on my car, right at check engine light, so I wanted to diagnose it. I know the car was misfiring because it was sputtering. It was like, it sounded like a Subaru. So I went ahead and checked the codes that I had, and basically I had to check a code on a Nissan 300ZX. You're gonna have to basically, there's like a little pin you would have to like pin into on the OBD1 port, and I'll throw a picture somewhere on the screen of what it looks like, what two pins you guys want to basically tap into. And then once you guys tap into those pins, the check engine light will start flashing. It'll flash in a series, and it'll basically flash a certain amount of times for one number, pause, flash a certain amount of times for another number, and then you type in those two numbers. So let's say it was like 4 flashes and 2 flashes, that's code 42. You go look up in what code 42 is. But in my case, I had 2 codes, guys. So the first one was it flashed 3 times really quick, stop, flash twice. That is code 32. That is an EGR valve malfunction. Now that is something we're going to be taking care of in a different video, not in this video currently. In this video, we're going to be diagnosing this code, which was, I had a code 5 flashes, pause, 1 flash, which is code 51 for fuel injector circuit. So which that is basically telling me that the circuit is somehow interrupted and or losing connection, basically not getting the full 12 volt connection. So I went ahead, popped my hood and diagnosed that. And I was basically just wiggling the connections around while the car was idling. Realized that as I was wiggling the connections, that the car was idling differently, idling worse, if not better. I'm gonna show you guys why that is. So as I was wiggling my wires, I found out that obviously something's going on. Popped a couple of them off to find out, if you guys can see, they're green on the inside, which means that is corrosion, which is definitely a contact block. So that is why I'm not getting the correct voltage. As you guys can see, all of them are corroded. This one is especially the worst. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and place those pigtails, as well as clean off the tops of the injectors. I believe the injectors should be firing correctly, because it wasn't a code about the injectors firing or anything like that. Kind of misfire is a low circuit code. So I went ahead and went on z1motorsport.com. If you guys haven't heard of Z1, go ahead and check them out. This is not sponsored or anything, but I will tell you guys this: they have anything and everything Z chassis on their website. So if you guys haven't checked them out, check them out. Anything OEM, OEM Plus, and or aftermarket, they have anything you can think of for the Z. And I was able to find OEM pigtails off of Z1, and they're about $5, I think, for like one. So for a full set, I think it was like $60 for like all 6, or just under 60. So I'm gonna go ahead and be replacing all the pigtails in this video, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm gonna show you guys how to do that. So it'll be pretty simple, guys. You grab your wire splicers or strippers right here. You strip both ends, and then you go ahead and connect these ends to your existing side. Obviously one's going to be positive, one's going to be a ground, and obviously on this they're going to be 2 different colors. They're both going to be orange. One has a black stripe for ground and one has a red stripe for positive. So you're going to make sure you guys don't get those mixed up. And they do come with heat shrink. I will be using the heat shrink because it looks clean and it says Z1 on it, and that's freaking sick. But also, when you guys connect them, do not just twist them together and heat shrink it. That will not, I mean, it could work, but I do not recommend that. 100% you're going to want to solder these on, guys, and then heat shrink them, do some extra measurements. And I think my power just went out, and now it is back on. So how I'm figuring out to figure out they're negative or positive, because they're not labeled on the Z1 pigtails. So how I did it, I basically grabbed one of the newer pigtails like so, which I already have this one marked as negative, but all I did was look at the OEM connection, matched them up how they would go in side by side, lightly plugged it in, not where it fully connected, but where it would basically show me that it is correct. And then I looked at the wires, which one was on left, which one was on right, which one was positive, which one was negative, and then figured out on here which one would be negative, which one would be positive, and then just put a little piece of tape marking that one was negative. So that's a good recommendation for you guys. I would do it that way to help figure out which one is negative, which one is positive. And when you guys are going to go and basically install these, I would do one at a time, because obviously you can plug them all into, like, plug them all up, match them up, mark them all the negatives. But then if I was starting to do that, and then I realized that some of them were on opposing sides, they weren't all in the same placement. So I recommend doing one at a time, that way you don't get them mixed up. Alright, so I just got all the injectors plugged in, and they're all nice and tight, all nice and plugged in. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to reassembling all the stuff that I removed. So real quick, I didn't show you guys what I removed. For easy access, without having to remove the intake plenum, you will have to remove the little bolts holding in the vacuum lines here, as well as the ones on the opposing side, as well as the ones to this little PCV sort of looking thing to the intake manifold. They're all 10 millimeters, 12 millimeter bolts, so those are the only ones you will need. That's all that I took off. A few of them, little bracket to hold the throttle cable. Other than that, that is it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to reassembling this, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get a first start and see if she idles any better. So, oh yeah, that's clean.
Doesn't it look exactly the same?
Yeah, low key. So the car is So the car is done, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna give it the first start and see if that fixed the problem. But I did notice that the injectors also as well did have corrosion. I did my best that I could with scraping it off with the limited access. So we're gonna find out. I figured there's still gonna be a code because of EGR.
Start her up.
But I'm just hoping the misfire went away from this. Alright guys, so I did let it idle a little bit longer, and let's say the idle did clean up a lot. So the misfiring was still there in the lower RPM range, but usually it was about to like 1,000 to 3,500. Now it seems like the misfire goes away at about 1,500 RPM, and after that it's all cleaned up top. So I'm assuming the rest of that misfire is coming from what was left of the corrosion on the injectors. So we're gonna go ahead and get new injectors, and do that next, and hopefully solve this misfire code, as well as after that we'll tackle the EGR code. If you guys found this video informational and helped you out in the slightest bit, go ahead and comment down below, like, comment, subscribe, and catch you guys in the next Ghost Flash video.